Awesome. Hey, y'all. It's great to be with y'all. I'm Analisa Goldblatt. I'm a senior content strategist here with One North, and I'm super excited to spend the next few minutes chatting with y'all about the magic of why and what some of the invisible forces are underneath our communication. So we have already heard a few times this week from Ben and Jessica about the importance of storytelling. We heard how roles on LinkedIn with storyteller somewhere in the posting doubled in just a year's time. And a quick peruse of LinkedIn or any other job board quickly confirms this, that the desire for storytelling, but more broadly, effective communication, is alive and well. And it pays quite well too. But with the prevalence of so many powerful tools at our fingertips, like generative AI, it seems like writing or constructing any sort of communication should be easier than ever, right? But you can't pattern match taste. Strong communication requires a certain mindset and a level of judgment that's difficult for a lot of people to achieve, even with the aid of technology. This one thing that effective communication depends on, it just cannot be automated. But while we're still trying to figure out what exactly the secret ingredients are to good taste and how to bottle it up for reuse, content creation has completely outpaced those of us hoping to exercise good judgment. This study shows that the quantity of AI-generated articles across the web surpassed that of human-written articles. And this was back in November 2024, just 2 years after the launch of ChatGPT. So we have been living in the midst of AI-generated content for a while now. We're caught in a paradox, right? The desire for communication, strong communication, and storytelling is on the rise at the exact moment that bulk content creation, or any type of content creation, is easier and faster than ever before. But there is a risk. If we completely offload our communication, we could turn into these guys. I'm going to show you a quick clip. Take a peek and see if you resonate. I really hope you don't.
Hey, how's it going?
A cashier has asked me how it's going. How do I respond?
Keep it short and light. Try something like,
Good, and you?
He said good and you. What do I say to that?
perhaps offer to assist him with something like,
Are you looking for something I can help with?
What items am I collecting?
the items you should collect depend on your needs.
What are my needs?
Needs can vary, but the most common are health, food, shelter, and companionship.
Do you have companionship?
By the end of this sketch, we see the conversation entirely devolve until both men are staring at each other, choked silence, unaware of their own needs, and unable to openly converse because, you guessed it, they met their free daily ChatGPT limit. This bit highlights an insight that many are picking up on, including Dr. Liz Gerber, who researches these types of interactions. And she says that people aren't turning to AI because the work is complex, but they're turning to it before they've even had a thought of their own. I think this applies to our communication as well. Ezra Klein, who you may know from the New York Times, said in an interview about his own writing that what a generative AI will never do for you is tell you that you're just doing the wrong thing. It doesn't know that you are just doing the wrong thing entirely. AI doesn't have your point of view. It doesn't have your discernment or your judgment or your taste. In other words, if you bypass these really important factors, you risk asking AI to perfectly execute, maybe, on your terrible concept. And you may not know it's wrong until it's out in the world for everyone to see, and it's a little too late to reel it back in. This is what happens when we stop practicing judgment altogether, when we offload not just the communication itself, but the thinking that goes into it. In contrast, we nurture good taste and judgment by doing the work. Maybe some of us were born with an elevated sense of taste, probably a lot of y'all. However, for the rest of us, We nurture these things through practices like collaboration and discerning. Should I offload this task, or is it actually key to my growth and effective communication, or whatever other skill it is that I'm trying to sharpen? In an interview from just a few months ago in February, Jack Clark, Anthropic co-founder, openly said that what's becoming increasingly limited is good taste and intuition. And he went on to say that you develop those things through experience. So that gut feeling that we get sometimes, which we often attribute to taste or intuition, it's actually not guesswork. It's compressed experience. Experience that many times begins with asking why. The why is the foundation that you have to answer before you ever get to the execution of what and how. The why is your magic. It's the invisible force that will drive your communication not just forward, but can compel action from others. Take a deep breath, though, because you don't have to take it from me. This documentation says that why is perhaps the most important question that you can answer about your content. I'm wondering if any of y'all recognize where this is from. Who's telling us this? Any ideas? What was that? Wikipedia, good guess. Anything else? Google, thank you. This is Google. And it's likely how we explain that despite the prevalence of all that AI-generated content we talked about, it largely does not show up in Google search results or ChatGPT responses. These ranking and recommendation systems simply do not reward what I like to call fluff content. So if we don't start with the why ourselves, we're going to run into thought stipation. Bear with me. Anne Hanley is an author and a marketing leader who coined this phrase. And she explains that if we invite AI in too early, before we've even had the chance to hear our own voice, explore a topic for ourselves, or as I would say, ask why are we doing this, we risk overriding our natural thinking process. Oof. AI is not taking our taste from us. It's not. But we're handing it over draft by draft. And we all know what happens when something that everybody wants, like beautiful storytelling, the kind that really makes you feel something, right, becomes limited. Your taste is priceless, and your team's taste is priceless. The next time you consider delegating any sort of communication to another person or tool, I hope you'll consider a few questions first. Starting with, have I answered why? This question alone brings a wealth of insight. It forces us to consider our audience. Who are they? What are their expectations out of this interaction? It also forces us to recall our own objectives. What are we actually trying to achieve here? And it helps us wrap our mind around the actions we'd like to induce in the audience, as well as the impressions we want to leave them with, right? Impressions of ourselves, our brand, or our product and service. Next, at this point in time, we have to ask ourselves, if I offload this seemingly laborious task, will it detract from my experience opportunity or my team's experience opportunity, in turn hindering our long-term development of taste? And last, will this tool execute on my expertise, or am I asking it to replace the judgment and the taste that I have developed from years of lived experience? The most important thing that we can bring to our communication and technology, it's not prompts, it's judgment, the kind that we develop by asking why and doing the hard work first. Thank y'all. It's been a pleasure to be here with you guys.